Hi everyone, it's Sue. Welcome back. So we're continuing on from our first video. Now I've just put a bulldog clip on the back there because I kept getting confused which was the back, which was the front. So I have got one spine and the other spine. Now what I've done is I've cut 1/4 of an inch from either the top or the bottom because I don't want it sitting flush with the cover when I put the spine in. So I'm just showing you there, it'll sit about 1/8 of an inch from the top and 1/8 of an inch from the bottom, if you can see that there. Okay, so the next thing that I've done is I've cut a piece of fabric about 1 inch taller than the spine. So it's about 1/2 inch extra that I've got top and bottom, you can see there. And what's going to happen is we will end up folding and gluing, and then I've got wings on the other side. So I've got about probably 2 inches, 2.5 inches extra. So the spine is 3 inches. So if you add another, say 5 inches, so we've got an 8-inch width of fabric and about 1 inch taller than the spine. Okay, and that will change depending on what size journal you're making. So what I've also done here is I've got a piece of just A4 heavier paper, and this is going to be my template. So it's exactly the same size in height as the spine, and we just put a fold. Now I'm going to measure and mark my spine as to where the signatures are going to go. So I'm just lining that up with my mat there, just so that I've got a straight edge, and I'm measuring it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center of that spine. I'm just making sure that the template's the same size, and then I'm going to start measuring. So I'm just finding the center of this piece. Now, if this was just a paperweight or a cardstock weight spine, you could just fold it, just put a light crease and fold it to find the center. But this is a bookboard weight, so it's too stiff. So I'm just ruling a line across the center, and then in this journal I'm doing a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. So I'm going to find probably about 1 inch from the top and the bottom. So I'm just marking those marks and then drawing a line, and then I'm going to do the top of the spine and find 1 inch as well. And then in between those lines I will then again measure and find the center. Now if you're making a smaller book, journal, you may want to just do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Because my journal is standing 12 inches in height, I'm doing a 5-hole pamphlet stitch because I want the pages to be sewn in securely. So here I'm just finding the center between the center mark and the 1 inch mark, trying to do the maths in my head. And honestly, it doesn't matter if it's not exact. And really the next section of that spine to the right should be the same measurement. So I'm just going to do exactly the same there. And then I'll meet those marks together and draw a line. So you see we have 5 lines, so 5-hole pamphlet stitch. Now I'm just going to try and work out how many signatures I can put in here, and this very quickly changes, which you'll see further on in the video. And I'm just marking 1/4 of an inch, every 1/4 of an inch across this spine. So originally I think I had it at 11 signatures. have no idea what I was thinking really. So that very quickly, once I start putting the signatures together, that changes to six signatures. So what I'm doing is I'm just marking across 1/4 of an inch, every 1/4 of an inch mark, and then I will join those lines from top to bottom like I did the other way on the spine. So I'm laughing at myself here because I'm writing a note. Okay, so I'm going to do 11 signatures, 5 full sheets of paper approximately per signature. So I'm trying to work out how many pages that's going to be, because I'm going to have to hinge all my pages, because it's basically, the journal's basically the size of an A4 page. So I'm trying to work out how many pages, how many full pieces I need to make. Struggling here with my mathematics. So it works out to about 220 sides if I do 11 signatures. Well, as I said, that really quickly changes. So I'm just meeting all the lines together now, and we have a little visitor that visits very, very shortly. My new little puppy, who's now 5 months old, keeps jumping up at me while I'm trying to get this journal done. So this is something that I started when we first got him at 11 weeks, and he was so tiny, he would sit up on my desk and sleep while I was creating things. And this is little Benny. So he's, as I said, now 5 months old. I can't believe it. And we just love him to pieces. He's gorgeous. So it's just like having a little baby. So I've got room on my desk there, right to the side, where he could curl up and go to sleep. But no, of course, he has to sit right on top of where I'm working. He wants cuddles from Mum. So here we go. We're just going to have a big cuddle. All right, so we got rid of the visitor for a little while. Now I'm just, where those lines meet, I'm just doing a dot so that it's easier to see. And that's just where the, so the intersecting lines, that's where we're going to poke a hole with our awl. Now I just tend to use this mat. Probably if you've got something that's not quite as soft as this, would be better. And I'm just going to poke the holes with my awl. Now this is a bookbinding caddy, which I will show you in more detail later. So these are available to order. You have to order them and then they get made, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Can't get my words out. So if you are interested in getting one of those bookbinding caddies, you can contact me via email and we can work something out. Okay, now you want to just get your template, and what we're going to do is we're going to mark the template with the 5 holes. So you've got your fold, and I'm going to put it up flush against the spine there, and the 5 holes, horizontal lines, that's where the holes for each signature are going to be pierced with your awl. So I'm just doing that. Now what you also need to do is you will need to mark the top of your template. So I'm going to just pierce the holes with the awl. You can leave that until you actually have your signatures done if you want to. I don't know, I just tend to do the holes straight away. And then please just make sure that you mark the top, which is the top and which is the bottom, because you don't want that to be out a little bit and it'll just mess up your whole alignment of your signatures. So I'm just going back there, making sure that I've got the top with the top and they line up. So I should have done that first. I hope I didn't confuse you with that. So what you'll need to do now as well, which I nearly forgot about, is glue your spine to your spine fabric. So you want to glue on the back side. Don't glue the side that you've drawn all your lines on, because otherwise you'll have to just redo it all, because you need to actually pierce your signature holes through the spine and the fabric. So I'm just using a 3-in-1 glue for this. You can use a fabric glue, you can use just your art glitter glue, your PVA glue, whichever glue you've got that works, that you're happy with, and just basically eyeball it and glue it in the centre of your fabric. Tip it over and just burnish it, just make sure that it's all nice and smooth and that the glue's all spread evenly. And then you can just sort of tip it over and you'll see all the lines then. So the lines are facing that way. So when you actually sew your signatures to the front of the fabric, you will still see the lines that you've drawn on the back. And that will fold over nice and neatly. And then you have wings that we're going to cut shortly on the side. And then when the wings are cut and glued down, they are covered by end papers. Okay, I'm using some pinking shears. I am not very happy at the moment. Someone has taken my sewing shears, my really good fabric sewing shears, and yeah. I tell you what, when I find out who's got them, there's going to be strife. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting about approximately 1/4 of an inch in from the top, and I'm going to then come across on an angle like we sort of did with the corners of the front cover, and I'm going to cut little wings. So that's going to fold down. I'm going to actually trim that a bit better, so I don't need that piece sticking up like I've got that there. So those wings will actually get glued down on the front and back covers and then covered with end papers, as I mentioned before. So basically I'm just doing, leaving a little bit at the top so that we can fold that over so that it's all nice and neat when you look at the top and the bottom of the book. And I keep calling it a book. Well, I guess it is a book, but it's a journal, so you know what I mean anyway. So I'm just showing you there that that's going to look all nice and neat, and then I'm just trying to trim off a little bit of the, I don't know why I'm worrying so much, because you don't even see it in the end. So if you just do that and cut some wings on your spine, and then we'll move on to the next step. So I'm just grabbing the cover just to show you how nice and neatly that will actually fit into the spine, into your cover, once it's all completed. So that's what you'll see. You'll just see a tiny border top and bottom. And then your as I keep saying, your end papers or the inside of your covers will fit flush over top of that, and you won't even see any of those wings. I prefer to have longer wings just so that it all gets caught in there and it's very secure. Okay, so now I'm poking the holes in the intersecting lines. Don't mind my head there, sorry about that. I'm really struggling to see where they are and allow you to see what I'm doing. So I'm just going through and poking the holes through each of the intersecting lines, and then I'll tip that piece over and then re-poke the holes the fabric side. Because we're sewing the signatures into the fabric side, that then enables the signatures to be sewn in a little bit more smoothly. So just re-poking and then tipping over. You can see where the holes, well, you can't really when I lay it flat, and that's why you keep seeing my head. But I'm just going through there now, and I'm re-poking the holes in the fabric so that the signatures go in a lot easier. So the next step, I guess, is to choose papers for signatures. Now I'm going to be doing it in my type of style that I like, so vintage type theme, because I want the kids to have a lovely journal that demonstrates, I guess, how I like to make my journals. So because the journal is so big, it will fit an A4 size piece of paper, which is about 11 3/4 in height by, I think, about 8, just over 8 1/4 in width. So this means that I'm going to have to hinge all my papers together. So I've got a piece of paper 1 inch wide, the height of an A4 sheet of paper. And what I do is I fold it in half, and then I'm going to glue that A4 sheet of paper onto that hinge. So I do that just with a glue stick, and then I glue the other sheet of paper to the left-hand side of the hinge. And then once that's glued, I then fold another piece of paper right sides together, and I glue that down. So I double hinge my pages. That's just something that I do, just for extra strength, and then I sew them all. My husband keeps telling me that I just love making work for myself, but I think it's just the detail. I love all the little bits and pieces of extra detail. So, and I love the whole process. So that's this video, and we'll be in soon with another video, and we'll sew the signatures together. Thanks for joining me, guys. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.